Keane is on her way to gold for Ireland.
Yeah, it's been mad, but like I think the first 2 weeks, once you kind of got over the first 2 weeks, you kind of found your own routine and what kind of works for you. And I think the kind of perk of not being able to train properly is that you can get up and train at whatever time you want. There's no real set routine as long as you get the work done in the day. Because I was trying for a while to train kind of the same sort of times that I would in the pool, but like it's not realistic at all.
Not at all, I'd say.
I was finding it so hard to like get into bed on time so that like I'd be up and ready to like train at like 8 a.m. but I just wasn't able to do that. And like, because everyone is trying to interact so much on devices, you're spending so much more time on devices, so it's just, that's why it's so much harder to go to sleep at night.
And would you say that you're enjoying it more that you can do it on your own time? I mean, I know obviously you can't go to the pool, so that's a big thing that it's probably a bit of a detriment, but would you find that you enjoy making your own routine better than just following the strict routine, or would you more prefer?
No, I'd rather have someone tell me what to do. A few weeks it was kind of like our training plan was just 40 to 45 minutes of easy kind of cycling or whatever every day, and now like my coach is sending me specific spin classes to do or specific like programs to kind of follow now, which is a lot better than like kind of just going out and doing whatever. But like we needed to do that anyway, just to kind of adjust to the new way of life. I think it's kind of nice though, because everyone is so understanding that like even if you are like a little bit slow to respond to an email or anything, everyone is in the same boat. So it's fine.
So maybe just to kick off, since we're already talking about training schedules, what would it be if we weren't in lockdown? What would a typical training day or week look like for you?
So I would train twice a day every day, apart from Sundays. So Sunday is my rest day. But Mondays I'd be in the gym in the morning and swim in the evening. Tuesdays would be a double swim. Wednesdays would be swim and yoga. Thursdays would be a swim and maybe it could be a double swim or it could be a swim and yoga. Friday is gym in the morning, swim in the evening. And Saturday I only have a swim, but my swims are 2 hours long, and then there's like the pre-pool and the post-pool mobility stuff, and then my gym is an hour to an hour and a half.
So a lot.
A lot. And it's a full-time job, and then in between that you'd have like your nutrition, your physio, your sports bike, so it's all those little bits as well. And it's also like planning when you're going to nap, when you're going to recover, when you're going to do all those other things that kind of people forget are just as important as the training.
Yeah. And so what about recovery and nutrition strategy? Is there like a specific like program that you follow, or does that change depending on the training cycle? What kind of things?
Yeah. It would definitely change depending on the training, but it would mostly be just calories, like because swimming is so much mileage, you just really need to get the calories in. And the one thing that I was concerned about when this whole thing kicked off was how am I going to eat? Because I usually train, I base my eating off my training. Okay. So I know like my meals would be like right before training and right after training, and then maybe that I'd have like a little snack throughout the day, and then I'd have like a lunch like an hour before swimming, and then after swimming I know I'm gonna have my dinner. So it was kind of a bit weird for me to be like, oh, how do I eat now? I'm concerned I'm gonna lose weight now.
but you feel like you've adjusted well enough anyways and sort of fitting it in.
I think so. So, and it's also good as well because I'm doing less training, so I'm probably eating that little bit less, but it's just important to keep the protein up because that's what's going to look after your muscles.
How have you learned to love who you are and deal with insecurity? And can you talk to us about different people that you've met that have inspired or impacted, kind of influenced how you approach, body image and self-confidence and things like that?
So when I started swimming, I never really noticed that I was that different to anyone else. And then it was kind of only when I started to become a teenager, like everyone, when the body confidence and body issues come in. And I think it was a little bit different for me as well, because like I was completely different to everyone else. It wasn't that like maybe I didn't like my hair or that I didn't like my body shape. It was the fact that I was missing a limb, and like people were staring at me, and people were staring at me a lot more than they'd stare at anyone else. So I tried to hide myself, So I'd wear my sleeves all the time if I was out in public.
Yeah.
Even if it was a nice sunny day like it is now, like I'd be trying to hide my body. And it was kind of only through my sport that I learned to love my body. So because swimming, there's nowhere to hide. And I was just so focused on trying to train, trying to get better, trying to push my body and see what it can do.
Yeah.
I completely forgot and didn't even notice that people were staring. And people weren't actually staring either when I was swimming, because they were just like, oh, this is normal. Like
Yeah.
once you kind of accept yourself, other people in society can accept you too.
Right.
And I was so happy. So like I would consider myself quite an outgoing person. Like I love to be happy. I'm always smiling, but I wasn't that person when I was kind of hiding my arm. I try and be as quiet as possible. And I knew how unhappy I was outside of the pool, and I knew how happy I was inside of the pool. So it was I kind of had to make a decision that I needed to change, and I knew I did need to change.
Yeah.
And I went to boarding school in England for 2 years, and Lauren Steadman, who was on Strictly, and I don't know if she's doing something else now, but I used to swim with her, and she just used to be she has the same arm as me, and she used to be so just carefree and outgoing, and it was something I was so jealous of, and it's something that I really wanted to be able to do. So I think seeing her and kind of seeing how happy she was kind of gave me that push that I needed.
Right.
But it only took it took about 2 years after that for me to kind of seize the opportunity, and it was like the start of college that I started to do it. I saw it as a fresh start, a new beginning, and my opportunity to kind of fake it and pretend that I was really confident and pretend I didn't mind people staring. But that's the thing, like once I did it and I kind of put myself out there, I realized that like the whole world doesn't revolve around me and my arm, and yes, people are going to look, but as long as I'm happy and I love my body and what it can do, then who cares about what anyone else thinks? And that's the thing, like my body is the reason why I am where I am today, and I definitely wouldn't have the life I have without it.
And then if you could give one piece of advice to any young female athlete, what would it be?
Just focus on trying to improve yourself, and once you start focusing on your training and your own goals, like if you set goals, you're so focused on them that you're not worried about what anyone else thinks.
You used to dance and you did a few other sports, so can you kind of tell us about how that kind of led you to swimming, because obviously those are quite different ends of the sport.
So I did Gaelic football for Scully Honnold in Clontarf, just because it's what my family did. And like swimming isn't a team sport, so I think that's kind of why I was like, oh, I'm not really a team sport person. And then with dancing, it was actually because I used to compete as well with dancing, and I was winning trophies, and I was dancing 3 times a week and swimming like 7 times a week, and I had to make a decision, and I kind of only made the decision based on realistically where I had a better chance of like having a life out of it, and that's why I chose swimming. But I don't know, who knows, if I had 2 hands I probably would have stayed dancing.
Now 2021 is set to be your 3rd Paralympics. What can you take from your experiences to help you in Tokyo, and what are your specific goals for Tokyo?
My hopes for Tokyo, well, in Rio I made the podium, and I know what that feeling feels like, and since Rio I've been able to use my profile kind of to spread the awareness of Paralympics in Ireland and try and help change people's perception of disability, and that's really important to me, and I know what a podium finish could do for that as well. So I'd love to make the podium again. That would be that would be the goal, and just because like I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I haven't performed, well, not that I haven't performed, but I just know the best of me is yet to come. So I'm excited to get that out of my system.
Did you find it affected your motivation a little bit with the Olympics being delayed?
With me, and I kind of felt relieved that it was postponed, because like we can't compete in an environment where not everyone has had the same possibility to qualify. And you just wouldn't feel good going there and competing knowing that people haven't been training properly. Some people aren't even there because they couldn't qualify, and then the whole world, it kind of would feel forced, and that's not what the Olympics and the Paralympics is about. It's about celebrating sport and what the human body can do. So I was kind of relieved, and also it just gives you more time to prepare. It gives you more time to kind of maybe address some issues that you didn't realize were issues. So yeah, no, I see it as an exciting maybe second chance just to get things 100% right.
Yeah, your training has adjusted over the past few years, and I've seen some videos and some pictures of your weightlifting, which is like fantastic, and brilliant, and very impressive. And just out of curiosity, like, how did you come up with the alterations for cleans and other exercises, and how did you find the impact of it subsequently on your training?
So it kind of started when I moved to so I came home from boarding school when I was after 2012, and then I started working with a gym coach called Kieran Kyo. So he was my coach now, my swim coach now, Dave Malone. It was his coach in the lead up to Beijing, and when I started working with Kieran, I was literally like so bad in the gym. I kept getting injuries. Like I had a tendonitis in my right rotator cuff. I was constantly having to get out of the pool because I was always injured. And I literally was just so useless. I couldn't even squat properly. And when I started working with him, I started to get I got a gym arm made, but it was just like, it kept breaking or things kept changing. And then it was just, I had to keep going back to the orthopedic hospital it's in Kappa, it's called where the Ottobock is. And I literally just had to keep going back, kept trying to get things fixed and adjusted and figuring out. It was all just trial and error. And then I stopped getting injuries. My right side and my left side are a lot more equal now. We have my left lat that I never used to have is called Larry. So whenever I'm doing like a lat pull down or anything, Kieran's always like, "Come on, I can see Larry."
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's something I've never had before. And then when I saw like with Instagram, like everyone shares what they do on Instagram. So I follow a few CrossFit athletes who have one arm as well. And I would constantly like send Kieran things thinking, oh, can we do this? Can we do this? And some of the things that like other athletes do, yeah, it's cool that they're able to like lift a bar over their head with one hand, but realistically that could damage half my body if I was to do that. But I saw an athlete doing the cleans with like a strap, and I sent it to Kieran, and Kieran was like, we could actually do that. So I tried James Scully, who I used to train with as well, used to use a seatbelt for lifting weights and stuff, and because seatbelts are so secure, I was like, maybe this could work. So it was just literally like trial and error and figuring out what works best for me. And the seatbelt, an airplane seatbelt, is literally like amazing. It can hold any weight, whereas my prosthetic can't. My prosthetic, there would always be the fear that it would break or fall off.
And I guess just to close out, like maybe just share a story of your best and worst race experiences, and kind of how you overcame the worst experiences, and then kind of the emotions that came with the best ones.
So my best, I'll start with my best first. My best was probably Europeans in Dublin in 2018. So I became European champion in front of a home crowd. It was kind of like I was probably in the best position to win the gold, but there was always a what if. Like what if I rocked on the block and got disqualified, or what if just something didn't go to plan. But to be able to do that in front of a home crowd and be able to share that with my family and friends was really special. And then my worst would probably be just this summer gone, World Championships in 2019 in September in London. I won a bronze medal, but the time I swam wasn't the time that I know I'm capable of, and I just kind of felt like I let the event kind of get to me a little bit, and I was just so disappointed with how I had performed. But it kind of has been pushing me, that performance. And there's a photo that was taken of me, and you can just see how like devastated I am by the race. I have that as my screensaver just as a reminder, because I never want to feel that again. So it does motivate me a lot.
I mean, I guess that's a good way. I think some people, they'd be like, oh, I never want to look at that ever again, and just kind of push it to the back of their mind. But it's good in a way that you're kind of just owning it and you know,
I want to remember, because I never want to feel it again.
No, like I respect that. I think that's really effective. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know it's kind of a busy time, but this is really good stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Cool. No worries. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you virtually anyways.
Nice to meet you too. Lovely talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.